Hey guys, kinggath here with another patch for Sim Settlements 2. This is patch 3.4.3, which I'm calling a long time coming, and that's because it's got some fixes for issues that have lived in the mod since it released back in 2020, so it's about damn time. Now we'll get into the details on those issues that have been fixed, but first we've got to thank our patrons. You guys are awesome. You guys are making sure that we're not covering all the software as a service fees for maintaining our online presence, our spaces, our team drives, all the nonsense that comes with maintaining a big community project like this. You guys are awesome. I'm going to shout out a handful of you today. If you signed up recently, I didn't get to you, don't worry, I will get to you in an upcoming video. So huge shout out to Ronald Tabor, Rory Allen, and Ivan Herrera. You guys rock. Thank you for helping out with the cause. All right, let's get into the patch notes details. So first up, in addition to SS2, there's also a minor update to Workshop Framework. One of the bugs that we fixed turned out wasn't actually in SS2. It was actually in Workshop Framework. And you're going to want to make sure you grab that. So that should be patch 2.4.4. So the big two issues that are finally squashed that I'm sure many of you have run into. The first one is occasionally you would find when you went to a plot to change the building plan, there would be 0 plans there, even though you're absolutely certain that you'd used them previously in the save. You know that you've got add-on packs installed. You know that you've got building plans unlocked, and they would refuse to show up even after you use the cache reset tool that some of you may not even know exists. And this bug has been fixed. Turns out there was a little issue in the way that we swap out containers to display to you as the player. So now if you ever run into this again, to fix it, just save your game, exit, reload that save, and you should find that the cache is once again restored. So that is going to be a big fix for some of you guys who maybe thought your saves were lost. Now, the other one is probably one that many of you never noticed was an issue, but our city plan making community definitely noticed, and that is the designer's choice fix. So when you build a city plan, Sim Settlements attempts to recreate the city exactly as the original designer intended, unless you turn off the designer's choice option, in which case it would use random building plans, but the default option is to try and recreate exactly what the original author had intended. Now, sometimes this would work, and in our testing for the longest time, it would work all the time. And that was because we were doing focus testing just on plots. Turns out as soon as you start injecting a number of other items in there, throws a wrench in the system. And huge shout out to Too Large Pepperoni and V-Lin Love, who both documented and tested a bunch of stuff about a particular city plan, gave me diagrams and save files and log files and just a boatload of information so I could recreate the situation reliably and finally figure out what the heck was going on. Turned out the issue was actually in Workshop Framework primarily, but the update to that does require a update to SS2 because the two are fairly intertwined at this point. So you should now see that that issue is fixed, and if you use any city plans from the community, so long as you have the same add-on packs installed as them, you should get a one-to-one recreation in your save file. So I'm sure a lot of your city plans are suddenly going to look a hell of a lot better. All right, and now the last change I will mention, and this is not the last change in the patch, there's always tons of patch notes to go check out, and I will have a link below to see the full patch notes so you can see if an issue you had was fixed. But the last one is not really a fix in the sense of a bug. It was more a fix in the sense of how something felt. And this is after watching other people play it, experiencing it myself, realized that we made a bad call on something. So previously, during Chapter 3, the only way you could get the official allyship with the Minutemen was to use them to destroy the Institute, which just didn't feel correct. And in theory, the idea was you would choose one of the major factions to be your core ally. So we've rectified that. Now all I have to do is get the Minutemen past old guns, and they will become eligible to be an ally. So some of you may find shortly after booting up this patch that suddenly Preston wants to meet with you back at your HQ. So that was an intended change. And I know testers and players, many of you guys have suggested the same thing over the last year or so. And it took me experiencing it myself to see exactly what they were talking about of how it felt like a bug the way we had it before. So it is now resolved, and thank you guys for your patience on that. In fact, thank you guys for your patience on any of these issues that live in the mod for so long. It is sometimes it's very painstaking to find these. The designer's choice fix, in addition to having tons of people try and research this and try and give me steps to recreate. Just in my latest fix, just to dig in and figure out exactly where the cause of the code was, it was probably 12 hours of work. So you can imagine some of these bugs, they just require deep dives into the code and trying to recreate things and debug output. It's kind of a mess. So I hope you guys will stick with us for the long term as I try to continue and hammer out all the many bugs that we've got reported. Definitely continue to report your issues to our forums. I'm going to keep these bug fix patches coming with the occasional quality of life thing popped in there. I am going to try and get these patches out on a more regular cadence going forward. We had 2 in November, now 1 in December, and I hope to pick this back up in January and continue with the multiple patches per month as often as possible, because we've got a lot of quirks to fix in this mod to get it closer to perfection, and especially before we dive back into more content creation. All right, guys, if you stayed through that rambling, you know the routine. That is, I'm going to give you guys a hashtag. If you're interested in getting some free SS2 swag, I'm going to have you leave a comment below, use this hashtag, and something else, something more interesting, so my comment section isn't just a bunch of hashtags. So leave me a funny story, leave me a bug report, tell me something you love about SS2, tell me something you hate about it, whatever the case, just something interesting to read while I'm collecting all the entries for this patch. And that hashtag is Bring On 2025, because I am ready to go. Can't wait to see what the new year brings. And yeah, I hope you guys are along for the ride. All right, guys, take care and enjoy the mods.